The military base, often synonymous with discipline and stoicism, had never witnessed a scene quite like this. A convoy of black cars, carrying some of the most recognizable faces in the world, pulled up to the gates. Among them was Jin, the eldest member of BTS, accompanied by none other than Jungkook's entire extended family. The sight raised countless questions. Why were they here? What prompted this unprecedented visit? And most importantly, what did it mean for Jungkook, who had been at the center of a storm for weeks? The world watched with bated breath as Jin stepped out, his expression calm but determined. He greeted the guards with a respectful nod before helping Jungkook's mother out of the car. Beside her was Jungkook's father, his face lined with worry, followed by siblings, cousins, aunts, and uncles. It was a gathering of love and solidarity, but its undercurrent was clear. This was no ordinary family visit. The reason for their arrival lay in the dark cloud that had been hanging over Jungkook in recent weeks. Allegations of severe bullying within his division had surfaced, painting a harrowing picture of mistreatment that left fans and the public outraged. Despite his superstar status, Jungkook had maintained his silence, choosing to focus on his duties. However, reports of his emotional struggles had begun to leak, and his family could no longer bear to watch from afar. Jin, known for his protective nature, had taken it upon himself to organize this visit. As someone who had completed his military service, he understood the mental toll such an environment could take. But this wasn't just about boosting Jungkook's morale, it was a calculated statement. The presence of his entire family sent a clear message to the military and the public. Jungkook was not alone, and those responsible for his suffering would be held accountable. Inside the camp, the reunion was both heartwarming and heartrending. Jungkook, visibly moved, embraced his parents tightly, his composure momentarily breaking as he buried his face in his mother's shoulder. His siblings surrounded him, offering words of encouragement, while his cousins playfully ruffled his hair in an attempt to lighten the mood. Jin stood nearby, his arms crossed but his gaze soft, allowing the family their moment before stepping in to pull Jungkook into a hug. "What happened here is unacceptable," Jin said later, his voice steady but laced with emotion. "No one, not even a soldier, should have to endure this kind of treatment. We're here to support Jungkook, but we're also here to demand accountability." The family's visit wasn't just an emotional gesture, it was a call to action. Jungkook's father, a man of few words, had brought a legal team along, signaling their intent to pursue justice. "We trusted this institution to protect and nurture our son," he said during a brief statement. "Instead, he was subjected to humiliation and harm. We will not rest until those responsible are held to the highest standards of accountability." The visit sent shockwaves through the military camp. Soldiers who had witnessed Jungkook's ordeal now found themselves under scrutiny. The commanding officers, already grappling with public backlash, faced mounting pressure to act decisively. Behind closed doors, emergency meetings were held, with high-ranking officials deliberating on how to address the scandal without further tarnishing the institution's reputation. Jungkook, for his part, remained composed during the visit, but those close to him could see the toll it had taken. He expressed gratitude to his family and Jin, promising to stay strong and fulfill his duties. However, his emotional vulnerability was evident when he spoke privately with Jin later that day. "Hyung, I didn't want this to become a spectacle," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But I'm grateful you brought them here. It reminded me of who I am, where I come from, and why I have to keep going." Jin, ever the supportive older brother figure, reassured him. "You're not just doing this for yourself, Jungkook. You're paving the way for change, for every soldier who has suffered in silence. And you're not alone in this fight." The visit culminated in a powerful moment when Jungkook's mother addressed the camp's leadership. Her words, though spoken softly, carried an undeniable weight. "You have a responsibility to ensure this never happens again," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Jungkook is my son, but he's also your soldier. Protect him as you would protect your own." As the family prepared to leave, they left behind a trail of impact that would be felt long after their departure. Soldiers whispered among themselves, moved by the display of love and solidarity. Some expressed regret for not speaking up earlier, while others vowed to support Jungkook moving forward. The media frenzy surrounding the visit only intensified public interest in the case. Hashtags like #JusticeForJungkook and #StopMilitaryBullying trended worldwide, with fans and activists calling for systemic reform. The spotlight on the military grew brighter, and the pressure to act decisively became impossible to ignore. For Jungkook, the visit marked a turning point. It was a reminder of his worth, not just as an artist or a soldier, but as a person. Surrounded by the unwavering support of his family and Jin, he found the strength to face the challenges ahead. And while the road to justice remained long, he knew he wouldn't have to walk it alone. The aftermath of the family visit resonated far beyond the military camp's gates. The ripples of the emotional reunion and the powerful statements made by Jungkook's family began to reshape the narrative surrounding the scandal. Public discourse shifted from outrage to action, with citizens, lawmakers, and activists demanding meaningful reforms to ensure that no soldier, regardless of their background, would endure what Jungkook had experienced. In the days following the visit, reports emerged of swift actions being taken within the military. The alleged perpetrators of the bullying were officially named, their identities shielded from the media for legal reasons, but shared internally within the ranks. They were promptly removed from their positions and placed under investigation. The severity of their actions, as detailed in preliminary reports, painted a grim picture of deliberate harassment aimed at isolating and humiliating Jungkook. Jungkook's family's legal team wasted no time in filing formal complaints against the individuals involved. The documentation submitted to the military tribunal included witness testimonies, video evidence, and detailed accounts of the bullying incidents. The legal team, backed by the family's unwavering resolve, argued that the perpetrators' actions not only violated military conduct but also breached basic human rights. As news of the tribunal proceedings broke, a new wave of public support for Jungkook surged. Fans and non-fans alike rallied around him, sharing messages of encouragement on social media. The ARMY fandom, known for its global influence, launched a campaign advocating for anti-bullying policies in the military. Donations poured in for organizations supporting mental health and anti-bullying initiatives, many made in Jungkook's name. Within the military camp, the environment was palpably different. Commanding officers, now under intense scrutiny, began implementing measures to address the toxic culture that had allowed such behavior to persist. Workshops on respect and camaraderie were introduced, and anonymous channels for reporting misconduct were established. Soldiers who had previously stayed silent about their experiences of bullying found the courage to come forward, inspired by Jungkook's resilience and his family's determination. For Jungkook, the days following the visit were a mixture of challenges and healing. While the weight of the ongoing investigation loomed over him, the support he had received acted as a buffer against despair. His interactions with his fellow soldiers, once tinged with tension, began to improve. Many approached him privately, expressing regret for not intervening sooner and offering their support. Jin remained a steadfast presence throughout this period, often visiting the camp to check on Jungkook. Their conversations, though private, were a source of solace for Jungkook. Jin's wisdom and experience provided a perspective that helped Jungkook navigate his complex emotions. "You're stronger than you think," Jin told him during one such visit. "And by standing your ground, you're giving strength to countless others." As the tribunal hearings commenced, the spotlight on Jungkook intensified. The media dissected every development, from the statements made by the accused to the testimonies provided by witnesses. Jungkook, despite being the victim, was called upon to testify. His appearance in court was both a moment of vulnerability and empowerment. Dressed in his military uniform, he spoke with a calm determination that belied the emotional turmoil within. "I didn't ask for special treatment," Jungkook said during his testimony. "I came here to serve my country, just like everyone else. What happened to me was wrong, not just because of who I am, but because no one deserves to be treated that way." His words resonated deeply, drawing praise from legal experts and the public alike. The trial, which was initially expected to drag on for weeks, reached a swift conclusion. The accused were found guilty of gross misconduct and were handed severe penalties, including dishonorable discharges and imprisonment. The verdict was a victory not just for Jungkook, but for everyone who had ever suffered in silence. The aftermath of the trial brought a sense of closure, but also a new beginning. Jungkook, though scarred by the experience, emerged stronger and more determined.